Guys, we are back with our new patrol. In the last video, which was the first video, we picked up the car, put the brand new Method wheels on it, and we did our 16-inch head unit. Everything is amazing, the car has been great. Today, we got a few more things done, and I'll show you what that is. So this morning, we got the tow bar done at Ferntree Gully Nissan. They did a fantastic job on that. I did a tow bar in my girlfriend's Seltos yesterday, and we were gonna tackle this, but I thought, why not give it to Nissan? They do these cars day in, day out. I knew they were gonna do a great job. So we got Nissan to do it. However, we have added the Anderson plug. That is a 50 amp Anderson plug because we are towing that camper trailer. So the camper will basically plug right into there while we're driving, and it will charge the onboard battery. I'm sure as time goes by, we will be adding more stuff to this so we can create more plates to sort of bring this out a little bit more. But as for now, that is all we need. If we come inside the car, you'll see here is where Nissan did their wiring, and here is where we've run our wiring, which goes hidden all the way to the front of the car, over to the engine bay where we are doing fuses for everything. So Anderson plug's gonna have a fuse. And the other thing is the Red Arc Tow Pro Elite. So the camper does have electric brakes, and we do Red Arcs on patrols all the time, so why not do one to this car? There is also another insane mod that I didn't show you in the last video, but we did get it done. So it is a real tragedy to see what is happening with a lot of cars around the country, but especially Nissan Patrols and a bunch of other cars like VF Commodores, but it is happening to Nissan Patrols. They're all getting stolen. So what we've done is put a ghost tour immobilizer in the car. That car cannot be stolen. So we've got the keys in the car. They're the original keys. I'll show you how this thing works. So basically you jump in the car. Now we have the original key to the car. It doesn't matter if you've got that key or a coded key or whatever. You'll turn the car on and the car will start. But I'm going to put the car into gear. And the second you do that, the car is out and you cannot start it. Doesn't matter what you do.
Please have a safe drive today.
You can do that 100 times, nothing's gonna happen. You can't start this car. The way to start the car now is using all of the buttons inside the car. You make your own code, and then once you put the code in, you'll be able to start the car. So I'll quickly put the code in. Now, we can start the car because I've just put in our code, and we can drive off, no problems at all. That is the Ghost Tour Immobilizer, and I think it is very important for these cars, especially the brand new ones. This car has 611 kilometers. Now, while we're here, looking at this dash, I don't really like the look of it. So we're gonna put in our brand new digital display. This cluster will give you all the information that the original one does, on top of a bunch of new information as well, including a digital speedometer. That was a very big downside to this dash right here. It has a lot of information, actually it has a little bit of information, and out of all the information it gives you, one of them is not a digital speedo, and I hate that. So this cluster is gonna give us that and a lot more. We'll quickly get it in and I'll show you just how easy it is to install. It's totally plug and play. Basically, you wanna pull the old cluster out, straight plug into the original harness, secondary harnesses plug in, and you are good to go. Now this cluster has a HDMI port, which means you can connect it directly to this head unit. So if you have your reverse camera on this head unit, you can see it there. If you have Netflix or whatever playing on that, you can see it there. And if you have your maps, you can see it there right in the center of the cluster. We'll show you all that once the unit is installed. But first thing we need to do to get this installed is move the wheel out of the way, remove the negative off the battery, very important. And then we're gonna take out this whole surround panel, which is all on clips. You just have to be very careful with it. You can pretty much pull it straight back, but just be super careful because you don't want this to jump up and scratch your leather. Once that's out, 4 screws on the cluster, and that's it, the whole thing pops out, real nice and easy. Now, when we go to start pulling these out, I always like to put a microfiber towel down here and then squish it in between that panel so that when you pull this back, it doesn't scratch the top of the steering wheel. I've started on this side right here, so that panel pulls out right there as you can see, and then you're gonna use your hands and basically guide the whole thing while pulling straight back all the way along, and this whole panel will pop right out. So this part is really nice and easy. I basically pulled here, pull, you can see there's a clip there, a few clips there, a clip there, clip there. It's really easy. This plug right here, you just wanna press the top of it like that, and then pull back, it will unclip. And then about halfway down, there's also another clip on it that you just need to pull out, nice and easy. And on this end, they will come out nice and easy. This last one, which is the start-stop plug, That's a little bit harder. So I would recommend a pick tool or something similar to just pop up on the clip and then pull the plug out. And once that's out, we can go 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice and easy. Before you do this, it is imperative that you disconnect the battery. If you don't disconnect the battery, you can run into issues with the car not recognizing the key, and it's a whole thing to get it paired again. So just disconnect the battery. It's the best thing to do. Now, once the cluster is out, you want to go ahead and open your kit and take this connector out here. This is on a harness. So basically it just has 2 plugs. They both go into the dash. It then has a USB that tees off. So we normally run it down behind the dash to here. So that USB just runs right down there to where this interior fuse box is, and we get that zip tied to one of the harnesses. This is just for future software updates if needed, so just leave that down there. On the other end of the harness, there is this plug right here, and it replaces this one. So there's 2 buttons on the original panel that are right here. They have 2 little feet on them like this. So you just pop them out, take the old button system out, put the new button system in, and then the new harness has the new cable connector for this button set. So that original one that was here, you can actually push that down and meet it where that USB is, and you can unplug it and then just keep that with the original dashboard for if you ever go back to factory. Now, that is pretty much it. Once that's done, these are ready to go into the new dash, and then this original plug goes into the new dash, and then you can set it in place, screw it down, turn the car on, and we'll show you the settings. If you were going to be connecting it to a screen like this one, now is the time you run your HDMI. So you're going to run the HDMI from the back of the cluster right here, and it's going to go in behind there and meet at the head unit where you will plug it in with one of our adapters, which is a USB to HDMI. So once that's done, everything will work. All you do is basically get one of the USBs from this head unit. So you plug the female into that end there, and then the other end just takes the HDMI, and then you run the HDMI here and plug it in to the cluster. Overall, very easy install. So we'll get this in and we'll see what the cluster looks like. Now I did stay back to get this done, so it's starting to get a little bit dark. I'll finish this video when we've got some more light, and I'll take you through and show you just how good this dash looks, and I'm keen to hear your thoughts. So we'll finish the video in the next clip right now. All right guys, it's been a little while. I just wanted to drive the car on a daily basis and test the dash out and just make sure everything's 100%, and the dash has been flawless. Let's start the car and see how it looks. Now, if you drive with cruise control a lot, you'll see yourself on this page right here, and that is basically the assist page. So cruise control on, you set the cruise control as normal and you'll see all the information there, and if you change the distance between the car ahead, you get that infotainment. You get that infographic as well. If you want to change over and move over different pages, there's buttons on the very top right of the cluster. If you press the middle one, it'll change to another page. So you can see here, we're on a bit of an incline here at my workshop, so that's pretty much perfect. And the roll on the car you can see as well, so you get to see your pitch and your roll. Next page just shows you a traditional speedometer and rev gauge. Next page shows you a sport version of that. And then the next page after that, this is the one that I like the most. You get your rev and kilometers on the left side, the picture of the patrol on the right side. If you change to sand mode or snow mode or anything like that, you do get the little graphic as well. Obviously, we'll keep it on road. Using one of the buttons on the dash, you can go ahead and change through different menu options. So you've got song name here. If you want to connect this to your head unit, you can get that information. Time and date, of course. Oil pressure. Battery voltage. Live tire pressure reading. This does work, you just need to be driving. Liters per 100 in a live view. It's a little strange, it goes backwards. So from 50 it goes down to whatever you're driving at the time in a live view. And at the very top you'll also see your liters per 100 as an average right there as well. Travel time and distance since the last reset. Digital kilometer reading. Another sort of gyroscope graphic. Settings for the unit. Navi disconnect. So if you have that connected, which we did before, we've just changed the head unit. Whatever you've got going on your either 12.3, 13 or 16 inch head unit, like Netflix or your maps or whatever, you'll actually see that information right here. As long as it's connected, you'll see it, and it's quite easy to connect. And then we're back to the assist graphics. So I've just gone through a lot of stuff very quickly, but it gives you an idea of the dash and what it can do and what it's got. You've got a petrol reading here, so that's just using the car's data system to tell you how many Ks are left until empty. You've got the ODO on the bottom left down there. Obviously auto, 4 high, 4 low is there as well. And all of this stuff can be reset. So for example, using the original trip reset button, I can press and hold it. And if you keep an eye at the top in the center, that's just gonna go right down to nil. And as you drive, it will relearn and pick up the correct liter per 100 as you're driving. So if you're flat footing it all the time, it's going to be high 20s. And if you're driving it sensibly, it'll be around 15 or whatever it is when you're driving. That is pretty much it. Indicators, so you've got the sounds obviously and the visual of the indicator. Your lights, so when we turn the lights on, you can see the illumination there. When I turn the fog lights on, you get that illumination, and you've also got the high beam as well. Okay, now come back to the pitch and have a look at this. The car is clearly not on that much of an angle, but what's happened is when I've reset the fuel, it's actually reset the pitch. Now the way to fix that, if you go over to the buttons that you install when you install the unit, at the very top, just press and hold that top button. And there you go. That is reset back to what it needs to be. And keep in mind, anytime you do reset this stuff in the trip meter, you will need to reset that as well. It's just part of how it is. It's something that you have to do. A lot of people have asked me about how smooth the transition is, so I'll just rev the car. So it's nice and smooth. There's nothing, it's not glitchy or weird or out of whack or anything like that. The kilometers are smooth as well. I've been testing it for, when was the last video? I think I had like 1900 Ks on the car. We've got 4,000 something now. So that's how long I've been testing it for. And we've had no issues with it at all. So that is the digital dash for the Y62 Patrol. There it is, guys. That is the digital dash done in our Y62 Patrol. We still have a lot of upgrades to do to this thing, so stay tuned for those. If you have any questions about the dash, drop them in the comments below. If you want to pick up that exact dash, it'll be on the website, www.shoptfb.com, and the first link in the description. That is pretty much it. I'm keen for the upgrades we've got for this thing. The Iron Man raid bar we did looks insane. Very happy with that. But we have a lot of stuff to do to this thing, and I can't wait. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked the video, like it, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace.